The lecture hall fell silent. Not the comfortable kind of silence where students pretended to absorb quantum mechanics while secretly planning their weekend. No, this was the sharp, blade-edged silence that came when something monumentally stupid was about to happen that I watched from my position at the back of the auditorium, my three eyes rotating independently to capture every angle of the unfolding disaster. 30 cycles I had served in the Galactic Educational Exchange Program. 30 cycles of watching species from across the known universe attempt to coexist in academic harmony. And never, not once, had I witnessed anything quite this absurd. General Croth stood at the podium, his crimson battle armor gleaming under the fluorescent lights, completely out of place among the floating holographic displays of advanced stellar navigation. The Vraxian commander was 7 feet of pure military intimidation, scales bristling with barely contained aggression. His mandibles clicked in what I recognized as either amusement or contempt, possibly both. "I have issued a formal challenge," he announced, his voice booming through the speakers with unnecessary volume. "Your species claims to be warriors, fighters, survivors of impossible odds." A few students shifted nervously. The Palaxian in row 3 actually whimpered. Understandable, really. Vraxians did not issue challenges lightly. Their culture treated combat declarations as legally binding contracts, enforceable by their entire military fleet if necessary. So, the voice came from the middle section. Small, steady, absolutely, catastrophically calm, every head turned. Every eye, stalk, and sensory organ focused on the source. A human, female, approximately 20 standard years old by their reckoning. She sat with one leg crossed over the other, tablet resting on her knee, stylus tapping rhythmically against the screen. Her expression suggested she was mildly annoyed at the interruption, nothing more. General Croth's head tilted. "You speak, small thing?" "Yeah, I speak." She set down the stylus with deliberate care. "You walked into the middle of Professor Vell's class, interrupted an actually important lecture about gravitational wells, and started making dramatic pronouncements. So I'll ask again. So what?" The temperature in the room dropped several degrees. Or maybe that was just my perception. Vraxians had killed beings for less disrespect than this. Much less. "Your name," Croth demanded, descending the stairs between the seats with heavy, purposeful steps. Each footfall echoed like a countdown. "Mira Jensen." She did not stand, did not even straighten in her seat. "And before you continue with whatever theatrical nonsense you have planned, I should mention I have 2 exams this week, a research paper due tomorrow, and about 4 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. So if you could accelerate whatever point you were trying to make, that would be fantastic." Laughter rippled through the room. Nervous, disbelieving laughter, but laughter nonetheless. The Palaxian stopped whimpering and started recording on his datapad. This would be all over the campus network within minutes. Croth reached her row, looming over the human girl like a crimson mountain. "I challenge your species champion to single combat. 3 days from now. Full contact. No restrictions." "Okay." Mira shrugged. "Send anyone." The silence returned. Heavier this time. More confused. "Send anyone." Croth repeated slowly, as if the translator might have malfunctioned. "You accept on behalf of your species?" "Sure, why not?" She picked up her stylus again, eyes dropping back to her notes. 3 days, full contact, no restrictions. We will be there. Can I get back to learning about orbital mechanics now? Or did you have more posturing scheduled? I felt my central heart skip a beat. In my decades of observation, I had cataloged precisely 17 species known for suicidal overconfidence. Humans, apparently, were about to become number 18. General Croth stared at the girl for a long moment. Then, to my absolute shock, he laughed. Deep and genuine, the sound rattling the windows. "Excellent. The humans send their tribute. 3 days. Stadium 7. The entire sector will witness." He turned, cape sweeping dramatically behind him, and strode toward the exit. "Do not disappoint me, Mira Jensen of Earth." The doors slammed. Professor Vell slowly emerged from behind his desk, where he had wisely taken cover. Students began talking all at once, voices rising in pitch and panic. Mira continued taking notes that I navigated through the chaos to her seat, my hover platform humming softly. "Excuse me, Miss Jensen?" She glanced up. "Yeah. Do you understand what you just agreed to?" I kept my voice measured, professional. Vraxian combat challenges are to the death. They do not accept surrender. They do not show mercy. I heard him, she said simply. No restrictions. Then you also understand you have just committed your species to sending a warrior to face possibly the most decorated general in the Vraxian fleet? A being who has personally defeated champions from 47 different worlds. Mira smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. It was the smile of someone who knew something you did not and found your ignorance amusing. Professor Ventak, right? You are the xenoanthropology specialist. I am, I confirmed cautiously. Then you have studied humans, yes? Our history, our tendencies. Of course. Primitive nuclear weapons. Tribal conflicts. Recently spacefaring. Impressive adaptation speed, but minimal combat experience against superior forces. Her smile widened. You should probably study harder. She closed her tablet, gathered her materials, and stood. See you in 3 days, Professor. This should be educational for everyone involved. She walked away, leaving me floating there, confusion radiating from every sensory organ I possessed. What had I just witnessed? Bravery? Stupidity? Or something far more dangerous? 3 days passed faster than a quantum blink. Stadium 7, normally reserved for ceremonial gatherings and diplomatic exhibitions, now hosted what the entire sector had deemed either the greatest entertainment spectacle or the most tragic mistake in recent galactic history. I arrived early, my hover platform gliding through the security checkpoints with academic clearance. The arena stretched before me like a massive coliseum, scaled for beings both large and microscopic. Force fields separated different atmospheric zones. Gravity adjusters hummed beneath the floor panels. This was neutral ground, designed for any species to compete fairly. Except there was nothing fair about this. The stands filled rapidly. Vraxians occupied the eastern section, their crimson armor creating a sea of blood-red anticipation. Other species scattered throughout, cameras and recording devices aimed at the central platform. I spotted betting pools forming in 3 different sections. The odds heavily favored Croth. Obviously, a commentator's voice boomed through the speakers. Welcome, beings of all classifications, to what promises to be a historic confrontation. In one corner, General Croth of the Vraxian Empire. 47 victories. 0 defeats. Unmatched in single combat across known space. Croth entered through the southern gate, walking with the confidence of someone who had never questioned his own supremacy. The Vraxian section erupted in coordinated roars. Impressive, really, if you ignored the casual violence their culture celebrated. And in the opposite corner, representing Earth and the human species, their chosen champion. The northern gate opened. I leaned forward, all 3 eyes focusing intently. This was the moment. The human military had 3 days to select their finest warrior. Someone enhanced, perhaps? Genetically modified? Cybernetically augmented? Humans were resourceful. Surely they had sent their absolute best. Mira Jensen walked onto the platform, the same girl from the classroom. Same casual posture. Same mildly annoyed expression, as if she had better places to be. She wore simple athletic clothing, no armor, no visible weapons. Her hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail. She carried nothing except a small water bottle. The stadium went silent again. That same sharp, confused silence from 3 days ago, but multiplied by 10,000 spectators. That is not a warrior, someone behind me whispered. Is this a joke? Another voice demanded. General Croth stood motionless, studying the girl. Then his mandibles clicked rapidly. Laughter. The humans mock me? They send a child? An unarmed student. Mira set down her water bottle at the edge of the platform, stretched her arms above her head with a casual twist, and walked to the center marker. Are we doing this, or are you going to talk more? Because honestly, the talking is getting old. Croth's amusement vanished. You have no weapon, no armor. You are not enhanced. I see no genetic modifications. No cybernetic implants. Nothing. Correct, Mira confirmed. Then you have 3 seconds to explain why I should not crush you immediately and call this an insult to my honor. Mira tilted her head slightly. You said no restrictions, right? Correct. Full contact. Yes. And you studied human combat capabilities before issuing this challenge, I assume. Croth's scales rippled with irritation. Your species has rudimentary martial arts, street fighting techniques, military training that pales compared to Vraxian discipline. I have reviewed the data. Okay. Mira smiled again. That same dangerous smile from the classroom. Just checking. Begin whenever you are ready, General. The referee, a neutral Korvaxian official, raised all four arms. Combatants ready? This match continues until surrender, incapacitation, or death. May the stronger being claim victory. Croth dropped into a combat stance, claws extending. I will make this quick, human. You showed courage accepting my challenge. That deserves a swift end. How kind. Mira said flatly. The referee's arms dropped. Fight. Croft lunged. 7 feet of armored muscle accelerating with terrifying speed. His claws extended toward Mira's throat. A killing strike designed to end the match in seconds. Mira moved. Not away. Toward. She stepped inside his reach with precision that made my training in physics weep with appreciation. Her hand, small and unenhanced, shot forward. 2 fingers extended. They struck Croth's throat, exactly where the scales separated for flexibility. Not hard, just precise. Croth staggered. His momentum carried him forward, but his attack failed. He gasped, mandibles clicking erratically. Tracheal nerve cluster. Mira explained calmly, circling. Hurts, does it not? Disrupts breathing. Vraxian anatomy is surprisingly documented in our medical databases. Thank you for the cultural exchange program, by the way. Very educational. Croth roared, spinning with his tail aimed at her legs. Mira jumped. Not high, just enough. She landed on the tail, ran up his spine with 3 quick steps, and drove her elbow into the back of his skull. The base, where skull met vertebrae. Another weak point. The general crashed forward, face hitting the platform hard enough to crack the reinforced material. The stadium erupted. Cheers, shouts, disbelief, confusion, all blending into chaotic noise. Croth pushed himself up, bleeding from his mouth. Impossible. You are not strong enough to damage me. I do not need to be strong, Mira said, breathing only slightly faster. I just need to know exactly where to hit. Biology is fascinating, General. Every species has vulnerabilities. Pressure points. Nerve clusters. Weak structural connections. Your armor covers most of them, true. But not all. Cannot cover all, or you could not move. She demonstrated, striking his knee joint as he stood. He collapsed again. She stepped back, letting him rise. Your species values strength. Power. Direct confrontation. Humans. She shrugged. We value efficiency. Adaptation. Creative problem solving. We spent thousands of years figuring out how to kill things bigger, stronger, and faster than us. It is kind of our specialty. Croth attacked again. And again. Each time, Mira redirected, struck precisely, and stepped away. She was not winning through power. She was winning through knowledge. Through understanding. Through being exactly what humans had always been. Clever prey that became apex predators. 10 minutes later, General Croth lay on the platform, conscious but unable to rise. Mira stood over him, not even breathing hard. Do you surrender, General? He stared at her. Then, incredibly, he laughed. Painful laughter, but genuine. I surrender. Earth's champion wins. He coughed. Your species terrifies me, small human. 47 warriors I have defeated. None fought like you. None studied me as you did. None turned my own biology against me. Mira offered her hand. After a moment, Croth took it, letting her help him sit. Send anyone, you said. We sent someone smart. Hope that counts. The stadium exploded with noise. I floated there, stunned, recalculating everything I thought I knew about humans. Professor Vell appeared beside me. Well, Ventak? Still think they need more study. I watched Mira help the defeated general to his feet, the two already discussing anatomy and combat theory like colleagues. Yes, I said quietly. Much more study. And possibly, significantly more caution. Humans, I realized, were not the primitive species we had assumed. They were something far more dangerous. They were students who actually paid attention. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.